Welcome to TungstenTales, ladies and gentlemen, and happy to say we've been joined by BetVictor's Charlie McCann. Charlie, you said it all week, and he delivered 18-9 ferocious performance in the final.
He delivered in style, Paul. And it's all week he's sort of, he's been consistent. He's played very, very well, and probably played the best he has played this week out of all his games. But you could say the same thing about Michael van Gerwen. The statistics would suggest that he's played. His average suggests anyway that he's played as well. I don't think it's a question of hitting doubles. It was just a question of the best player this week, who probably should have been less than 2-1 to start with, who probably should have been a lot shorter than 4-5 coming into the game, who certainly should never have been, in my opinion, from halfway through the week, second favourite for the tournament. This is, there is something about whether it's the Blackpool air or something that he gets on that side. I think he knows as well that these are the best darting supporters in the world as well. But of course he hasn't been beaten here for 7 years, and he's won 15 titles here. But even by his, extraordinary, that was a very special performance. He's almost, I think Phil's almost obliged to say that was the best. But do you know, when he reflects on his career, I actually think that one might give him the most satisfaction. That was the one where I think Phil's turned up at finals, and I've been here at finals in the past, and it was a question of how many. I don't care what you say, it was a question. People, no, Phil was so superior. But this was a guy who's the world champion. He's the world number one, and quite rightly. But he was playing an away game tonight. He was playing the great man in Blackpool, and the punters did get it right as well. They went for Phil, and we've lost on the tournament. But you are. If you sponsor a great event like this, and certainly anyone with Phil Taylor and Michael van Gerwen, you're not going to win money, because I think that Head and Shoulders is completely wrong. But, they're not, because Gary gave Phil a great, and you just wonder whether that actually was a better preparation than maybe Michael's, who I didn't think there was any time throughout the week, even when he was playing Simon, and Simon won 13 legs, but I don't think there was any time where anybody thought Michael was going to lose any of his games. I think when Anderson threw to make it 16-all, that game was on the wire. But he like a great predator, he comes out 41 and Phil pounces. And that's why he is not only the greatest dart player there will ever be, but one of the greatest sportsmen Britain has ever produced.
And in fact, we said the performance, the 17-15 in that heat last night against Gary, second game on, then he's not getting any younger. I'm sure Phil won't mind me saying that. I mean, to get out in 2 darts and beat, he was dancing around out the back like a spring chicken. He was ready for this, and I think he knew he was going to win that game. I'm convinced he knew he was going to win it.
Well, he was confident. I think there is no question. Of course, he was confident. He's playing at home, and I also think as well. If you are such a great sportsman, you don't forget things like what happened in the Premier League. You don't. You really don't. And when you knew that he was bringing his A game here, he was basically saying, my A game against your A game. Now, in 12 months' time or 2 years' time, the scales may have changed. But Phil was basically thinking, no. You bring your A game, I bring my A game, and I still think in 2014, whatever happened in the Worlds, whatever happened early in the Premier League, Phil still thinks. And Michael will go home, and I think he probably is disappointed, but the averages suggest he played better today than he had in any. And Phil was too strong for him.
That's right. He had a 100+ average. I mean, Gary 100 plus 105 last night. So Phil's coming on the top of both of those. So that says it all.
And Wes played in the quarterfinal. Wes played the best he had all week. And still, and only, but took an early lead. But no, I think it's fair to say that we have, the king's not dead.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
And I know we've got the World Tour, the series coming up, and we've obviously got the Grand Prix. But talking about the World Championship, would Phil now be favourite?
Phil had come in from 3-1 into 9-4. Michael was still 6-4 to retain his title. I would imagine they're around about 7-4 each of two. That would be my thoughts. Phil's got to. You've got to react to something like that. If somebody's beaten them so comprehensively, 18, whatever it was in the end, 18-8 or whatever. You've got to react like that. So whether their favourites have actually flip-flopped wouldn't surprise me if they were around about 7-4 each of two. Because again, Michael, is so at home on that, on the World Championship. But Taylor's got a few.
Yeah, yes. Just one or two. Well,
exactly.
Well, Charlie, thank you so much for your time this week with all the interviews and the betting tips, and you've done great in obviously sponsoring the event. And thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, the punters have had, have held sway. At one stage, it was probably neck and neck halfway through the week. But when you have the number 1 and 2 seeds, punters, but that's this is a great tournament, and you're privileged. We've been privileged, Paul, to be here for the weekend, and I've been here all week, and you are privileged to be in there. And I must say one thing, if I might, you speak to the security guys, for example, and this is their favourite tournament. Yeah. When I said to the head, what's the week been like, and he just said it's sensational. The crowd is absolutely, because they're real darting aficionados and they love the dart. You could almost argue, they've paid for 2 hours of entertainment. They haven't got it tonight. They've gone home knowing they've seen something special. Yeah. And that thing special on this occasion is Phil Taylor.
What a brilliant way to sum it up. Ladies and gentlemen, BetVictor's Charlie McCann. I'm Paul Starr, and that was TungstenTales keeping you at the sharp end of world darts. Thanks for joining us.